behalf of the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mrs. Rita Bourne-Gums, I welcome you to the 2015 Labor Day celebration entitled Working for a Better St. Martin, a ceremony of appreciation, a ceremony recognizing the stalwarts in the labor initiatives. Welcome and good morning. Labor Day celebrations 2015 originated at the Department of Labor, and at the helm of that department and the tireless working team is Mr. Raphael Bosman. I'd like to invite Mr. Raphael Bosman for official words of opening and highlights.
Reflection on this day. This is the fourth time that in this format, getting together, that we will be celebrating Labor Day. And maybe we should stop a minute and reflect and just go back to that first time and see how we came here, how we got here, and maybe even reflect on how we would want to continue. And it all started in a conversation with my then boss, then Minister of Labor, Dr. Cornelius De Wever, now MP De Wever. And we were talking about Labor Day and why nothing is happening on Labor Day. And as we can recall, on Labor Day we fell in the middle of Carnival, and it was the second lap parade. And Mr. De Wever sat there, he just couldn't understand why there is a confusion between Carnival and Labor Day, and he said, well, you guys can't just get together, sit down and regulate this thing. Wow, boy, easier said than done. He said, no. He had a vision, and the vision was it is Labor Day, and the one does not exclude the other. So you can celebrate Labor Day and reflect on Labor Day and still have a parade. So let us start by first changing the name from Second Lap Parade to Labor Day Parade. Okay, all right, let's do that. So that required that you had to sit with the Carnival Committee to discuss that. And we were very surprised. My colleague, I don't know, Mr. Selby Phillip, Mr. Selby Phillip has been the one from the get-go involved in organizing this day, and sat with the Carnival Committee, and we were very much surprised how willing they were to discuss this event and to work along with it. So it started to look like that difficult. It was not. The Carnival Committee cooperated a lot. That also included shifting with the holidays, because how the holiday was going to fall, etc., and to complicate things more, later on we got a king who decided not to celebrate the birthday on the 30th, but on his real birthday, which was the 27th, etc. But people sat together and worked together. Mr. De Wever then said we should go further. And as then and now, Minister Bourne, we wholly believe in tripartite approach to the issues of labor and many other issues, but definitely to the issues of labor. We see today, for instance, at our head table, the partners. We have the government, we have the employers, we have the workers, and we have the clergy. How can you go wrong? That vision back then materialized in what we have today. But the bottom line of it was that at a certain moment there were so many people that contribute to labor. All of the folks, almost, I think all, except the one that is the millionaire, Mr. Pantoflet, but all of the others are employees. They are I have to draw your attention. All are employees, all work for a paycheck. They're all workers, just like all of us. So sometimes when we talk about workers, we automatically exclude a group of people, but they are workers also. Okay? And some people we know actively involved in labor, via the labor movement. My friend Claire Elshot, Brother Thompson over there, Brother Lynch. Those are names that when we say labor, we know, we recognize. But there are also people who work very hard on the background, sometimes in support of those that are up front, and other times doing their own thing, but are also involved in contributing to labor. So that is why back then it was decided in consultation with the social partners that on this day we should honor those folks who have been contributing. And we said we need a criteria. And the criteria, one was the most historical. There are certain names you mentioned, and yeah, you don't have to give no further explanation. Everybody know their involvement. Others, it could be a one-time situation and they had a tremendous impact on the labor or the situation on the labor market of St. Martin. And others you never heard about. You didn't even know that they were involved in labor, but contributed tremendously. And that is how we came about to the criteria for the honorees, which again, this would be the fourth time that we would be doing so. So that is just a brief recap to refresh the memories, where today we have a Labor Day that is actually celebrated. We have a Labor Day parade that is an official parade. If you look in the Carnival schedule, it is listed as Labor Day parade. It is not listed as Second Lap parade or anything like that. And we have where the highest officials in government, our ombudsman also, welcome, is here today. The highest officials in government with all of the folks in one way or the other who take part in government are present here today. In closing, I would just like to leave something with you, food for thought. Something that I discuss a lot on the department. And oftentimes we talk about the problems of the youth, be it youth unemployment or opportunities or what have you. But it's a vivid topic, and I'm sure that maybe more than one speaker today would touch that topic. I'm not going to go into the topic. But I want you to reflect sometimes how we talk about it. Okay? We say things like not having opportunities. We say, when we talk, for instance, about our students who study to come back, we say that come back to what? You don't have any opportunities. And so we approach it from a minus point, from a negative point. If you are that student who's leaving to go study, and that is all that you have been hearing, that when you finish study you would have no opportunity, why would you come back? Food for thought. Maybe we should, for instance, look around in the room today. On my department, my colleagues, young St. Martiners, supported by, I think the only non-St. Martiners are my friend Len and myself, and we are the older ones. And the new generation, highly educated St. Martiners who did come back and are contributing tremendously. My colleague, Mr. Selby Phillip, with a master's in public administration, organized this event himself, is spearheading occupational safety and health on St. Martin. We should maybe try to focus and highlight more of those cases, more of the positive, those who did come back, those who are contributing, and those who can say, I'm happy and proud to have come back because I'm finding my niche in the market. It will not be easy and there's a lot to be done. But maybe the reflection that I would like to leave with you is that we should reconsider our approach when dealing with this matter. Thank you.
We're not just another Caribbean airport. We're an international gateway, designed with you, the traveler, in mind. SXM provides a state-of-the-art international travel experience, where ease and convenience is second only to safety and efficiency. At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
But happy Labor Day to all. I'm a teacher, so before I start my speech, and of course, I have a prepared speech, but I would like to speak, permit me to speak from my heart. Before I start my speech, I have to make some corrections. With us today, as union, is the WIFUL, who no longer carries the name Windward Island Federation of Labor, but Workers' Institute for Organized Labor. So that is the correction. Brother Thompson, am I correct? Workers' Institute for Organized Labor. That is one of the corrections. And Mr. Boseman gave, of course, an overview of how Labor Day and the celebration came about. It's what it is, but I would like to carry it a little further. As a chamber of labor unions, under the helm of my Powerpuff sister, Patricia Ponteflet, we have engaged with the Carnival Committee. We had numerous meetings. We had even meetings in the setting where government was involved at the government administration building on having this day for the workers. Because when I joined the movement, I can remember us having very elaborate celebration where we had different speakers down to people coming from abroad internationally to be our keynote speakers. And in the afternoon, of course, in the yard of the WIFUL, we would have that festivity, the party for the workers, which I can remember every year we were blessed and graced with the presence of Mr. Ralph Richardson. He never missed one of those celebrations to be in the yard with the workers. He would be there every year. And at a given moment when we saw that we weren't making headway with the getting across to the Carnival Committee, the unions decided to leave that matter rest. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. We left that matter we left it lie, but we started a different action. Our actions later on as union paid off because we started then the movement of getting the recognition for the day that we call Emancipation Day. Because recognizing that workers came out of actually the whole platform of slavery, Emancipation Day became the next significant day for us, of which we have been able to get Emancipation Day, the 1st of July, recognized. So, Minister, we are coming as unions to then, in great force, also give recognition to Emancipation Day, the 1st of July, and therefore, this is the little extension that I had to provide as a teacher. Lord, when you're a teacher, something, kind of rude, but you have to give this extension over so that everybody would be able to know the history. And I feel honored today, so this is my official part, that as the president of the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Union, this is the second time around, that I'll be here today while some very important people to me and to my life are being honored. When these persons were nominated, I was not the president of the chamber, but God do it so, that I am the president of the chamber. And I would like to congratulate each and every one of these three nominees, of course, and for Patricia, it's the family. Sandra Machu, if I start with Sandra Machu, the face of the wife, full, of course, it's called in the booklet. But if you ask me my honest opinion, I would say Sandra looks like a person that can't mash a fly. My mother would say that too. But those are the persons that we need in the labor union. We don't need all the time people that are loud, rowdy, stamping their feet and hitting their hands and things like that. Basically, we need those persons too. The spirit of people that you see out there and look like they can't mash a fly, those are the pushers, the movers, and the shakers within. They are the ones that ensure that when I'm tired, the work gets done. And I'm proud because Wifel started out with Sandra, but Y2 ended up inheriting Sandra. She is now a member of Y2 because she is a teacher. In the meantime, she has empowered herself. She became a teacher, and she is also a tireless person upgrading herself. So she's now the adjunct school manager of the school we call the Genevieve de Viva School. That's a school where our minister was the former school manager. So, history, it just happens that it evolves so beautifully and things, and I was not the one that nominated Sandra. So things are so beautiful today, I feel so good. Rene, Mr. Rene Richardson, Cozzo, I would call him. I know he is not at no time, in denial. My good cousin, my strong cousin, I have a lot of admiration and love for him, because if it was not for him laying certain stones and cornerstones at Wifel, we would not be here today. But as you can see, even though Mr. Richardson, my cousin, is very far past 60 years that it provides a retirement in government, he is still very active. And that is the genes and the characteristic of my cousins. And my cousins continue to contribute in making the lives of people better. The youth will be able after to see that even though you reach retirement age, and I won't tell you my age, that's why I like dying, and basically you can still make your positive contribution. So within the booklet, you would be able to see the contribution that is being made. When it comes to Patricia, she has said so much, done so much, and one of the things, again, as teacher, I miss in the booklet, is that Patricia had her own radio program in which at Eddie Williams Station, in which she would invite powerful women, women that are doing and have been working within the society, so that they can give also the information, and that the public aware out there is, you know, that they are aware of certain things that has happened. So she was a great, great, great person. Not a teacher, but a teacher by her own rights, because she would teach you certain things. I've been taught so much things by Patricia that I'm now going to put in practice. And basically, one of the things that she always speak about is unity is strength. When we can have our differences in here, but when we go out there, we have to go out with one voice. She didn't say two voices, one voice. So I would keep that in mind, and in my position now as the president of the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Unions, which she held the first presidency, she was the first president, I would then continue with that, with her footsteps. And of course, we affectionately would rename the Powerpuff Girl, the Powerpuff Girls. So in this esteemed event, the honor that will be bestowed on Patricia Loudly, and her family is here to accept it, I will take it also very silently. So it is not for Patsy alone, but it's also for her Powerpuff sister. Thank you for that part. Thank you for that part. As a result of this, I cannot leave the lectern without over again telling you how much for the trade union movement, for the workers' organization, tripartite discussions and social dialogue are very, very important tools. These are tools that, of course, have been provided so that we can always find ourselves and that we can keep that balance within the workforce, within the society, that we can keep the peace on the labor front. It is a very, very powerful tool. Why? Historically, a couple of years ago, when the teachers not being happy, nobody was speaking to us, and I have one thing very good I like when people don't speak to me, because I start to speak in the mirror to myself, and when I continue, then I call my members and I start to speak with my members. So at a given moment, we had discussions. Our members, of course, the troublemakers are the media sometimes, sorry for saying it, because they would call it a strike. I'm speaking to my members and they call it a strike. When there are innovations in education, schools, teachers are called together and they gave them that training. When I call my members together, it's called a strike. I don't strike. I have membership meetings on the school hours sometimes, and at the helm of that, I can remember in 2000, Her Majesty, our Queen, was going to be visiting, and the Monday scheduled was visit to the schools. Well, our then Lieutenant Governor, Franklin Richards, smelling over the weekend that if this continues with the teachers Monday not going to school but going to the union's meeting, we would not have, that royal visit would not continue to the schools. So my brother Thompson was called on a Sunday out of his house together with my sister Patricia Pantuflet and of course myself, and we were put into the government administration building and what they call to have a social dialogue on the impact that this would make. But very importantly, once we broke and we had the caucus, a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, was then signed, in that Memorandum of Understanding that gave birth to the social dialogue at that time. The social dialogue in which we inked that agreement that every 3 months the government would have meetings with the union, and more important, that no decisions would be taken without the involvement of the unions. So for me, social dialogue is a golden word in my book. Tripartite meetings and tripartite forums is also very, very important for me. So therefore, I could never in an evaluation say we cannot reach our goals. Sometimes, of course, as the workers' organization, there are things that you cannot agree on wholeheartedly. But just like in a marriage, when you can't agree, you disagree, or you leave it alone, you come back on it, you discuss it after. But for us, those are things that has been now embedded in the organization in St. Martin that we should continue to grow on in that form and fashion. And in saying that, yeah, regrettably, we don't have a float today because I was already geared up to have my dress was going to be from newspapers, and on this arm was going to have my Coca-Cola tins hanging, because in no way and no fashion, I'm very quiet now, but the old people would say, after the calm comes a storm. In no way and no fashion am I giving up on my cola. So the Coca-Cola tins would symbolically reflect that cost of living adjustment is a right that we as workers, we feel that it is an acquired right, so that, so to speak, government would have to start budgeting, because the story is they never have money. They would start budgeting from today, and I'm looking forward to that in the next budget debate in Parliament, that cost of living adjustment for the workers of St. Martin is going to be a reality, especially the civil servants, because the minimum wage is already taken care of. The cost of living has to be applied every January of every year. So, in saying that, I would like to continue to wish everybody a peaceful, happy Labor Day, and my part is therefore concluded. Thank you very much for all that we have been able to establish on behalf of the workers. Thank you.